Today I'm delighted to be here with one of Taiwan's most admired and beloved dads, John Hay. Now, John was named by Commonwealth magazine as one of the 200 most influential persons in Taiwan. He became famous as a TV host in the 1980s and then brought Dale Carnegie training to Taiwan, making it one of the most successful branches in the world. He's written numerous books on parenting, leadership, and much more. So it's so great to have you here to talk about fatherhood.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. After listening to your introduction, I guess you might have taken Dale Carnegie training. You make me feel honored.
Well, it's a wonderful course.
Thank you.
Well, you know, Father's Day is coming up, and I'd love to talk to you about what it's like to be a father. But I think a lot of people are wondering, what do fathers like to get for Father's Day? Can you give us some insight into that?
Sure. So, after being a father over, 55 years, and then grandfather for 22 years.
So that's a lot of cards and gifts, huh?
I kind of feel I earned the right to talk about the topic today.
That's right. And you have a wonderful family, beautiful,
thank you.
happy family with great careers.
I think I have to admit that in comparison, as your work, your social life, I guess family is one of the areas that's most important. See, I remember my boss, the CEO, president of Dale Carnegie Associates in New York, when he visited Panasonic in Malaysia, he asked their CEO, why did you select us as your training partners many, many years ago? Then the Panasonic CEO answered, he said, because those who have taken your course, their family relationship are better. For example, if you have a argue or quarrel with your wife, it definitely will influence or impact your next day's performance at the job. And then your kids, especially if your kids are in teenage years, then they make troubles, or you definitely, the father will be feel
frustrated,
annoyed, yeah. So then, that's why we select you. What you said is, some people only looking at from one angle aspect, that family life is family life, but job is job. But actually, it's our whole
That's true.
destiny.
It affects your whole
future.
life, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you happy. And I know that you're, I've read a lot about your family.
Really?
You have a beautiful family. I know you've gone through ups and downs with your kids. They
Sure.
went through teenage rebellion, some of them,
Yeah,
right?
midlife crisis.
Can you share about how you got through that?
Okay.
And then what you learned?
I think being a parent, either mother or father, it's kind of like an endless journey. You see, most animals, lions, tigers, kangaroos, or elephants, or whatever, you name it, almost all can stand up, start walking once when they were born. But the humankind is different. You take it from the small baby, you have to hold him, feed them, totally helpless. They need
a long time.
100% attendance. And then gradually, over the years, to become independent. Then the parents have to grow. Some parents are still treating their kids as they were kids.
That's
but
true.
Actually, they are teenager, 20. You know, there's a famous writer named Long In Tai. Years ago, she said that she asked her two sons, let's have a family get-together in an island, beautiful resort. And their second son said, okay, in Germany. I will bring my wife, my girlfriend with me. Then Long Yin-tai immediately said, no, it's our family get together. Don't bring your girlfriend. Just 1 or 2 days later, the son wrote back, said, we decided if my girlfriend couldn't go, I will go.
Oh.
So Long Yin-tai suddenly realized my kids are growing up and my mindset or mentality kind of like becoming my son's 小三
mistress, the third party.
mistress. So, but she, she's so put it so frankly, so beautifully. The reason I want to bring this up first is that parenting has several phases. The childhood phases, kind of like primary school, kindergarten phases. That time, parents have to be, accompany, 陪伴, and play with them, either chess or play ping pong or swimming. But most parents says, I don't have that many times. I have to work. And after work, I'm tired. I have to cook. I have to watch TV. But some psychologists said the kids only need the golden 15 minutes.
Oh.
If you spend 100, but it have to be all
very
focused.
focused.
Don't watch TV and play with them. I think we can all spare 15 minutes. Yeah. And then once they're in high school, parents have to grow into treating your kids as friends. And the most common denominator of friendship is communication, listening, especially listening.
Oh dear. We're used to telling them what to do.
Yeah. And listening has to be what they call active listening. Like you are listening to me talking now, or the audience. Eye contact is most important. But today, everybody was
That's true.
texting or playing with this 3C machines. So that kills communication. So I remember a father, a big company, asked me to give them a talk during the 春酒, after New Year's.
The spring banquets?
Yeah, banquets. Then I mentioned this. Their general manager, I think we call president. After my talk, he went up to the stage and took over the telephone and told every one of his staff. He said, one day his son, 11 years old, came home. He said, Daddy, let me tell you one thing. He's still either typing or watching his computer. Then the kids walk away. And then during the dinner, the father, he said he remembered this. He said, hey, what did you want to tell me? I remember you wanted something to tell me? The son said, 讲也没有用, useless to talk. Father said, just try it. What's wrong? Then after a few, agony and struggling, the son finally said, during that day, he learned how to swim.
Oh.
Because the boy, 11-year-old boy, has a phobia on water.
Wow, that's a big deal then.
Yeah, even walk on the water, shallow like a jacuzzi, he wouldn't do it. So the father hired a coach just to very patiently, nicely, to accompany the kid. I don't know for how long. So on that day, breakthrough, he swam.
Wow.
But just if the father took his hands down or just turned around, what is it? Then the son may tell him. But can you imagine what a pathetic result would be if father just forgot it to mention during the dinner?
That's true.
So during the teenage years, the best friend a teenager have is those who are interested in me and respect me, and it showed in active listening. The active listening is eye contact, focus, ask questions, respond in gesture, in facial expression. That's during the teenage years. And then once they are in college, in graduate school, or even graduate like me, my youngest son is 46 now. Joseph, I think I will tell them to watch this program. After they enter the college, or over 20, or even start working, the relationship changing to consulting. Mm-hmm. We are their consultant. And the consultant must, in addition to company, to listening, and you should sharing, talk with them. However, the taboo, the most critical factor in consultants is never make decision for them, if they, or even force them. For example, how many parents can refrain from telling your kid to select that department?
Major?
Major. You want him to be an engineer. He likes to take philosophy. But your first reaction is, how could you make a living as a philosophy? Right. But all the analogies or theories I mentioned, I went through. My youngest son wants to be an actor.
He's a Stanford graduate. He wants to be an actor.
I was so glad I didn't stop him. Let him try. Let him fail. That's the most difficult one. Let him hurt, even sometimes disappointed. But finally, decision is his. But I'm so glad he keep asking me questions, talk to me. If you have the patience and learning, growing, even sometimes need resilience, but once you overcome or you gain it, I can guarantee you that's probably most worthwhile journey you have taken.
Well, what about you personally as a dad? What was the most challenging stage for you? And how did you get through it so well?
Or you want a frank answer?
Yeah, of course.
About my daughter, she started loving boys when she was very young, 5th or 6th years grade. Oh. 6th grade, 12 years old.
That's hard for a dad, right?
She doesn't mind telling us. But unlike all those traditional or conservative parents, we're last generation. But we have to tolerate. And then after she entered high school, then boyfriend, one after another, different. When she brought those boys into our house, we really want to kick him out. She really,
you didn't like any of them.
It's a pain, But she went through. That's an agony age. Later, when her husband, they just celebrate their 25th anniversary. It's her high school sweetheart.
Oh, so one of them did work out.
Yeah, these are what the parents have to take. And what's the reward? At my youngest son's wedding in Stanford campus church, beautiful church, yard, grass yard outside, large one. And before the wedding, we were all standing, all the guests, relatives, friends, classmates, all standing on the yard, grass yard. And then one of my relatives came over to me. He said, hey, in Chinese we call it 表姐夫. How do you call it?
Cousins.
Cousin, yeah. Hey, cousin Yulong. He said, I don't admire your reputation. I don't admire your wealth. I don't admire your technical competence or something like that. But the only thing I really admire is your 4 kids. Remember, that's before the wedding of the youngest. So I think I 100% believe he told me the true feeling.
Well, I'm curious how you helped your kids develop to be such confident people and successful in their fields, because in the process, not all of them were perfect students.
No.
or know exactly what they're going to do. So what can parents do to help their young kids gain confidence and develop and find and be their best selves?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because you make me think that how they seem be more understanding even when they're young. For example, help chores and family work and have the empathy toward the parents work so hard when they were young. So honestly, they build their self-confidence. For example, in U.S., when we were living in U.S., they have to turn down a lot of temptations, either drugs, marijuana, for example, although they legalized that in California, smoking, drinking, or even, sex. But they all keep that, the last-ditch defense, very good.
That's great. How did you get them to do that?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about if I can answer in one sentence to your question, is that parents must and should have praise, compliment, and motivate when they are doing good. So then they build the confidence.
Father's Day is coming up. Can you tell children what fathers want from their children? Whether it's on Father's Day or just in general, give us some insight into what fathers want.
Okay. I would suggest to all the young men or who are watching this program that your parents would be most appreciative when you tell them how important role your parents played in your life, either in writing a letter. Don't just send a card, Father's Day's card. Just write.
You have to write it yourself, right?
Yeah, must be a
handwritten, right?
Paragraph, not even just the one line, Happy Father's Day. That won't work. So either writing a letter, or if you are self-confident enough, tell them face to face how much you love them and in what incident or example your parents did on you, either at home or at school or outside, which means a lot to you today as a work staff, as a parents, as a partner or friend. And without that incident or advice, you probably wouldn't be what you are today. There's many areas, but most importantly, that area. So they don't don't ever think there are plenty of time, because time is, you always thought is you have many time in the future. I will do next year. And then several years passed, you still wouldn't do it, because this is out of your comfort zone. You just don't feel easy or comfortable.
But it means so much,
It means so much to them. In my class, one of the executives doing that, and his home is in Pingtung. He really, at that time, no high-speed rail. He really flew back and facing his mother, over 80, at a farm, an it's a 农家 agricultural family. He said next week he reported the process. He said it really wasn't easy. He tried and tried, but still couldn't do it. Finally broke through. He told his mom. He said, "Thank you so much. I came back today to tell you how much I appreciate your hard working, and you are still home. How much you did for us." The mother cried, and keep crying on the wall. And this gentleman is, I think, is over 40, 45. Hold his mother and sat down on the sofa. He said that few minutes is the sweetest and most impressive few minutes in his life. So your a little in writing or verbal or just really meant a lot to parents.
That's wonderful. And well, as Father's Day is coming up, do you have any message for fathers?
Oh, fathers. Number one, the children's life is theirs, not yours. So we should all learn from Long Yin Tai that their life, either spouses are selecting a line of job or what major they select, it's all their job, not yours. Although we all love them, but the last line you should draw is remind yourself. So you did what you can. Later is his life. I think that's all I can tell you. And I can tell you it's not easy. Try your best. And
I do want to ask you, because you're such a famous and beloved figure in Taiwan. You're known for so many things, for being a wonderful TV host, a wonderful manager of Dale Carnegie, and a wonderful father, grandfather. Which achievement makes you the most proud or gives you the most satisfaction? What do you want to be known for?
Thank you. I'm not that good. If you really want me to pick one, it's being a father. It's much. This is the first time I have to think hard, either in business, in writing, in being a host, or when I giving a talk in a big gathering. But in retrospect, in last maybe 60 years, I'm 80 this year. Start from 20 years, then this 60 years. Being a father and what I have done in the fatherhood is something I can tell myself that, I left something in this world one day when I'm gone. For example, like Michelangelo, he left the that Pieta and
beautiful
St.
paintings,
Peter's
yeah.
Basilica, or
the Statue of David.
for example, Yu Guangzhong, he is gone lately. He left so many beautiful poems, essays. But one day when I'm gone, I can say I left Chinese Carnegie training, or books, maybe. But most important thing is I left 4 good people who are God-fearing and loving men and women, 4 of them. But the 4 of them become altogether 20 of them. So gradually, hope it can spread around. So the last impression I can get is, sometimes it's not that bad if you think about your last day. As I heard a talk, he said, when medical doctor told him, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, keep counting. When we give you anesthesia, 麻醉,
Anesthesia, yeah.
Anesthesia. Then he said no, he won't count. He would keep calling his children's name.
Oh.
He said, if for me, I would say Joseph, Clara, Thomas, Gerard. He keep calling their name.
Oh.
Then when he woke up after the operations, then 4 of them would be all stand by his bed. That's a beautiful way to reflect your whole life. That is, you left something good on earth.
That's wonderful. Well, it's been wonderful talking with you,
Thank you, Natalie,
about fatherhood. And thank you for being such a great inspiration to all of us here in Taiwan. I've been speaking with John Hay, who is a beloved dad. He's also the founder and chairman of Dale Carnegie Training in Taiwan. And it's a beautiful family he's been telling us all about. Thank you so much, and we wish all of you a happy Father's Day.